Okay, Shruti. I'm not able to see any participants.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I am Shruti Agrawal, your host for today's session, brought to you by GeneCubes, a platform dedicated to supporting startups through innovation, mentorship, and meaningful partnerships. Today's topic is choosing the right tool for startup or the startup tools that don't break the bank. It is vital for every founder. The tools you choose early on can either accelerate growth or slow you down. Making smart decisions around your tech stack, infrastructure, collaboration tool is key to building efficiently and scaling with confidence. To guide us through this, we are excited to welcome Ms. Priya Packrisamy, co-founder and CTO of Proppify Solutions. With over 27 years of experience in AI, ML, generative AI, LLM, RAG, IO2, IoT, cloud, and digital transformation. She is a true tech leader and startup advisor. Having built and scaled two AI startups, she brings deep insight into selecting the right tools, building capable tech teams, and aligning technology with building business strategy. So, whether you are at the idea stage or growing fast, this session will give you the clarity to choose tools that truly serve your startup journey. So, hi Priya, welcome to the GeneCube session.
Hi, Shruti. Thank you.
So, without further ado, you can take over the stage.
Thank you, Shruti. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my webinar. First of all, thanks a lot for joining in. My name is Priya, and I will commence this session with a quick introduction on my technical background. Like Shruti explained, I have totally 28 years of IT experience. Out of these 28 years, last 10 years, I have been in the startup business. I have floated two startups so far, and I'm in my second startup right now. I'm the co founder and CTO of Proppify Solutions, and we are based out of Chennai. So before I came into the startup world, I did what every other person in software did. I was a director of technology in an MNC, delivering multi-million dollar projects for Fortune 100 companies. Sorry for the brief pause. Um, I'm assuming that this session is going to be for young people, first generation entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs who are already in the second or the third startup, or you are roaming around with a nice product idea but don't know where to start. So I have tailored the content according to this mix. So I'm just going to get started with the session right away. As I explained in my experience, you can say that I have seen the best of both worlds, the big corporates with unlimited budgets and the startups with no budget. So, the best lesson I have learned from my experience is that you don't need to spend big to build big. How is this right now? It's because of the AI. You can use AI like a magic wand to build and grow your startup with zero budget. But the problem is identifying which tools to use, where, and for what purpose. Selecting the wrong tools can not only waste your time, effort, and money, they can also get you confused and kill the momentum that you have built for your startup or your product idea. So, today in this session, I'm going to show you the tools that I've actually used in Proppify, the ones that have helped me build real platforms with a real team on a very less budget. So let's get started on this. Slide two, Shruti. Okay, let's get real. No, stay on slide two itself. Yes, thank you. So let me start by calling out the reality most of us face when building something new, especially when we are just starting out. You are trying to build a startup, but suddenly everything around you feels expensive and overwhelming. So what happens is that the tools that cost hundreds and dollars a month, and then free trials that quietly ask for your card, and then they auto renew even before you can blink. And then there are long setups and complex onboarding flows. And then the analysis paralysis. By analysis paralysis, what I mean is there are plethora of tools in the market. If you go into any social media like Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, anywhere, you are bombarded with so much information about a lot of tools. And then there are shiny promises, and then there are so many ads that you don't even know where to begin. This is overwhelming even for a very technical person who is highly experienced like me. Think about a solo startup founder, a first-gen entrepreneur who will what he will go through when he see this bombarding set of tools. I have seen this myself firsthand with my own startups and with the founders I mentor. You end up spending more time deciding what tools to use than actually building your product. But the good news is that you don't need all that. There are tools that are truly free, easy to use, and powerful enough to take you from idea to launch. And today, I'm not just going to show you a list, I'll show you tools I have actually used to build production grade platforms without burning any money. So let's keep it simple, practical, and real. So, what is the game plan? By game plan, I mean the startup game. How to level up your startup game. So, I have split it into multiple levels. So, each level will get you closer to your startup success, but with the least amount of money spent. So, we'll go one level by the other. Level one, I mean the free tool mindset. So, the free. What does the free tool mindset feel? So, it's all about changing how we think. Instead of chasing expensive tools, we will focus on how to build smart, fast, and scrappy using free tools that work. Um, so the moment we start thinking about tools, what we think is that buying expensive tools is going to help us build very good product, but that is the mindset that you need to fix. Your mindset should be about creating the product. It should not be about chasing the expensive tools. That would be your level one. This is the first step, and it is also the most critical one for the success of a startup. For level two, the essential stack. So in today's session, I'm going to walk you through a solid free tool stack from design to development, marketing to project management. These are tools that you can start using today. They don't cost you any money and they don't cost you any time in setting up. You can get started in minutes, not just days. For level three, how we can create a MVP and how you can actually scale it into a real product. Once you have launched, how do you grow without breaking the bank? I'll show you the free tools that will help you track your users, optimize your product, and also scale efficiently. The level 4 is the pro level, where you find out all the tools and hacks that feel like premium, but they're actually free. So think of this as your cheat code for building faster and smarter. The next level is the ultimate level, the boss level, where you start building like the pros. So this is where we pull it all together. I'll show you even how unicorn companies use many of the same tools and how you also can utilize. So let's get to level one, the zero budget mindset. This slide is the most critical and the most important one because no tool can save you if your approach is not right. You have to think scrappy, you have to move fast, and you have to focus hard. By think scrappy, what I mean is do not wait for funding or any fancy tools. Just use what's free. If and only if it brings in results, then upgrade. So, this is the mindset that you need to create, and this is the most important aspect of creating the zero budget mindset. I will use what is available and then I'll start building. That should be your mind. That should be your thought process. And then you need to move fast. Once you come up with a product idea, don't sit on it. Don't wait to build it perfectly. You don't need a perfect logo, you don't need a perfect website, or you don't need a perfect pitch deck. Perfect is actually the enemy of shipping. You need to launch fast and then fix later. So this is the mantra that you need to keep. Launch fast and then fix it later. So you need to move fast. Hit the market as soon as possible and then focus hard. So you have a list of tasks to do in building your product. And then for the same job, if you keep picking five or six tools, all your time will be spent in evaluating which tool is the right one for this job. Just use one tool per task. That is more than enough. Overstacking tools will just add confusion. And I love this quote tremendously. Constraints breed creativity. Every great founder has faced limits in time, in terms of time, money, and people. So the magic happens only when you build despite those limits. So that's why I have put in this quote today here in the presentation, because this mindset, not just the tools, is what is going to help you build something very real for you. I have grouped the essential startup stack into 6 categories: communication, project management, design and branding, development, analytics, and email marketing. Email and marketing. These are the milestones that you are going to face in your startup journey. So this is you can think of it like your go-to toolkit to build a startup from scratch without spending anything. This stack is not just a stack that I'm suggesting to you in the presentation. This stack is something that I have actually used myself in Proppify solutions to build working products, not just MVPs, but real platforms that are currently in production, serving hundreds and thousands of users. You don't need to spend lakhs to get started. You just need the right stack and the right mindset. That's what I'm trying to drive at. So, in the upcoming slides, I'm going to go into each of these categories, and then I'm going to go in detail into each of these tools and then explain how this is going to help you. So, the first category is the communication. Let's talk about team communication. So, what happens is typically in startups, people default to Slack. And don't get me wrong, Slack is actually a great tool. But if you're a funded startup or an enterprise team, Slack is actually a great tool to go to. But for startup teams where there is no funding, if you're self funded or if you don't have any money, what I would suggest is Discord. Discord is actually a game changer. You know, I'll explain why. First of all, it's 100% free forever. There is no 10,000 message limit like Slack. And it has built-in voice channels, which makes it very easy for you to hop into quick calls or brainstorm sessions without scheduling Zooms. And you get a lot of features like screen sharing, mobile first UI, and honestly, a much more relaxed and startup friendly vibe. Discord, you've been using a lot along with your friends to play games and then for a lot of personal discussions. So, when you start building a product together, your team will feel like your friend and you will feel that you are just building something together along with your friends. That kind of a vibe you could get from Discord. It may seem unconventional to you, but I have seen that a lot of teams, especially young ones from the Gen Z background, they actually, including my own team, they stay organized and move fast with Discord. But you need to do few things to switch Discord from a personal usage mindset to a professional usage mindset. So what I would suggest is create structured channels from day one, like hashtag general, hashtag product updates, hashtag random, hashtag voice general, hashtag release notes, hashtag development one, like that. So if you when you create groups channels like this, and then when you keep the communication clean and your company friendly, then there is nothing like Discord for team communication. Please give it a try. Notion. If you could pick just one tool to run your startup, and if I am a startup founder, if I have been given a choice of choosing just one tool for my startup, I would say go with Notion. It's more than just a note taking app. Notion can literally become your second brain. Here is what you can do with it. There is an option to do wiki and documentation. You can document everything: your vision, your processes, your product roadmap, all your brainstorm sessions, your meeting notes, whatever your team, whatever feedback your team is giving, whatever feedback your users are giving, whatever feedback your investors are giving, everything can be documented extensively in Notion. This actually keeps your team totally aligned with your goals and your vision, and everything is completely centralized and organized in one place, easy to share around, easy to put review and comments. I mean, wiki and documentation wise, Notion is the best. Apart from this, you also have project management where you can use storyboards, calendars, and timelines to create tasks, and then you can create tasks, and then you can do storyboarding and then pull them into running agile releases, everything. It is super visual and very easy to use. And then they have other features also, like basic CRM and lead tracking. They have content calendar, they have meeting notes and brainstorms. And there are also, they have these OKRs and goals where you can put objectives and key results, and then you can track your company and personal goals, see the progress at a glance. Honestly, I have seen entire teams run their entire business out of Notion. The one advice, one pro tip I would give you is that if you got a student email ID, you can actually unlock Notion Pro for free, which means unlimited blogs and premium features. Just explore this option. You have to go into notion.so/students link to find out how it can apply to you. And while starting Notion, if you don't know where to start, just go into Notion template gallery. You will find templates for everything from pitch decks to product launches. These templates are really cool and they look totally professional. You can get started from day one. Let's get to the next slide. Design like a pro. Let's talk about design, because whether you like it or not, people are going to judge your product by how it looks. Assume you built a very intelligent product, but the UX design is very simple and counterintuitive, and it doesn't look good at all. People are going to automatically assume that your product is dumb and useless. Assume we build one product with very good UX design, which makes people easy to which makes people easy to use and hyper intuitive, then they are going to automatically assume that your product is intelligent. So that's the kind of judgment people carry with them. So it is very important, it's super critical for a product. I would say even make or break is that you need to focus on the UX design. But here is the good news, you don't need to hire a designer, or you don't need to invest on expensive tools like Adobe or Photoshop. You can just use free tools like Canva and Figma. They are very powerful. They are free, powerful. Honestly, they are also kind of fun to use. You can use Canva for marketing and brand content, and you can use Figma for product UI and UX design. I am running all of my products and solutions UX design through Figma. It is ideal for designing applications, websites, and prototypes. Sometimes you can even create clickable prototypes where the buttons and the drop downs will be clickable. This is very useful to demonstrate to the clients how the end product is going to look like. They will be able to visualize how the end product is going to look like. And you can create unlimited personal projects all for free in Figma. In Canva, you can create Instagram stories, LinkedIn posts, and even pitch decks in minutes. And then the templates that are created by Canva, they look totally professional and very modern and trendy as well. So you can just create designs, very good look with zero effort. You can just do drag and drop. So my bonus tip here is that you need to explore tools like Unsplash and Pexels, where you get high quality stock photos for free. No copyright issues, no watermarks. You can also explore and find out some other websites which provide images and icons for free. So yeah, no excuses. You can look like a serious funded startup even if you're just starting from your own dorm room. That's that. And then ship fast with free hosting. We have spoken about team communication, we have spoken about project management, we have spoken about UX design. So the next thing is what every founder wants, actually launching your product. You don't need a DevOps team, you don't need to spend expensive bills on AWS, and you just need this combination, and it's completely free. This is the setup that I'm going to recommend. For coding, you can use GitHub. Oh my god, GitHub is my favorite. I think I'll die if there is no GitHub. You can get a free private repository and easy collaboration with your team. You can actually set up your entire team as collaborators with lots of privileges, and then you can keep versions and you can create multiple branches. And another thing is, lots of free cloud platforms that are available today, they provide automatic linking with GitHub. So once you create a repository in GitHub and link it with the cloud platform, once you commit your code into GitHub, your code changes will be automatically deployed in cloud, like Vercel, Netlify, Railway, anything. So you don't need any DevOps person to handle the deployment for you. So that's like one very big win with GitHub. Explore GitHub today. This is an this is a brilliant platform. I would say that this is actually a mandatory and critical for any startup that is trying to build a product. For hosting, like I said, you can try Vercel and Netlify at a try. Both of you will deploy your front-end application like React application, NXJS application, or even static sites in literally seconds. Like I explained, you just need to link your GitHub and the deployment is automatic. For database, my personal favorite is Superbase. Superbase is like a one-stop store which contains everything, starting from database, vector storage, files upload, S3 storage. It has authentication. I mean, it has everything. It has everything except code. You need to maintain code in cloud, and you need to maintain everything else in Superbase. That's how Superbase is. And also the interface, it comes with a very cool interface which is very easy to use. Anybody can use it. I mean, you don't need to have a RDBMS knowledge, or you don't need to be a database administrator to create database here. It's very nice. And I also like Planet Scale. If your project is going to be completely MySQL database driven, then you can go with Planet Scale. Both of them offer generous features and built-in auth API, etc. And then the next one, domain. You can't have your product deployed somewhere in some test site. You need to have a proper domain that's matching your product name, at least closest. So you can try Freenom for free domains, or if you are going to just use it for demo purpose, then you can deploy in Vercel. Vercel itself will generate a unique URL for your application that ends with .vercel.org. This looks clean and works great for MVPs. If you're going to go for product launch, a proper product launch that you're going to give to the users, then you can go for Freedom. So when you use this tool set, how easy the deployment is going to be. Push your code to GitHub, connect it to Vercel or Netlify, and your app is live. And here is the kicker. This is the same stack that is used by companies that are worth millions. Since these tools are available for free, do not assume that these are kickoff tools. These are actually production grade, excellent platforms that are used by companies for multi-million dollar projects. They are fast, scalable, and also free, perfect for building and iterating quickly. Know your users. Okay, you have built the product, you have also launched it. Now comes the golden question. Are people using it? And how are they using it? You need insights. Why do you need insights? See, this is the most important part. The way you envision and perceive your product or your business idea could be completely differently perceived by your users. You might be building a buffalo, and your users might be expecting an elephant. What if you keep growing a buffalo and then deliver it to a user who is expecting an elephant? So you are completely on different terms altogether. So you need insights to understand what your users are doing on your application or site, just to understand how they feel about your product. You don't need just page views, you need deep insights. And there are so many tools that can give you this insight, powerful user analytics for free. For example, Google Analytics 4, GA4, it shows website traffic, where users come from, what pages they visit, how long they stay. It actually works for mobile application, not just for websites. You can track e-commerce, custom events, funnels, user flows, everything. Everything is for free. The only drawback is that GA4 has a bit of a learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, it's gold. And also you can try Hotjar. Hotjar has a free plan. I personally like Hotjar because this is super visual. They have a cool feature called heat map. You can see where your users are clicking, scrolling, or ignoring. So that will give you a gross idea of features are most liked by the users, which ones are not really useful to them. So you will know in your roadmap, you know which features should be prioritized next, or which features you should be building on. So it is like getting a real life feedback from the users. And also there is another thing called session recording. You can literally watch users move through your site like a screen recording. And how cool is that? And you can also add feedback polls and surveys to get user input without annoying pop-ups. So a Hotjar with a free plan, it is going to act like a field team for you, which is going to collect real information from the users who are actually using your product. The student tip that I would give you right now is that there are so many certification courses offered by many universities free for students on Google Analytics. If you're still a student, you check, you enroll in these courses, and then you learn Google Analytics. It is really going to help you. So what I would suggest is you just don't guess what's working, you just track it. Only then you will understand where and how your product is working. You have built something cool and you have also understood that the users are liking it, but then how will you make more people to see it? How will you let people know that you have launched a cool product? So you need to do some level of marketing. But in startups, the reality is that the most of the founders will not have a marketing team, or they won't even have a big budget. But that's okay, because there are some amazing free tools that can help you market like a pro on a literal noodles budget. Two tools that are my most favorite are Mailchimp and Buffer. In Mailchimp, you can actually send cold emails to a lot of contacts for free. I think the number comes to around 1,000 or 2,000. You can send newsletters, updates, and if you launch any new product, you can send onboarding emails. You can even automate flows and track who is opening and clicking. So that will actually give you information about the leads who are interested in your product. And when it comes to social media management, Buffer is the tool you should explore. They can connect up to 3 accounts, and then they can schedule 10 posts per account for free. You can stay consistent across different social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Um, and then for creating the content for this marketing post, you can use Canva. We have already spoken about Canva and ChatGPT. All of you are aware of ChatGPT. You can generate content in ChatGPT, and then you can design it using Canva, and then you can use Buffer to post it in social media, and you can use Mailchimp to send it to the interested leads. So that's the flow I'm talking about. You can also schedule them for later. In free plan itself, there are options where you can post 30 posts a month. And I'm going to talk about one other cool trend that is currently in rage right now. It is AI agents. The AI agents are performing extremely well in social media marketing area. You can create an AI agent that will connect to the chat GPT, and then automatically generate a social media content for you, connect with the tool to design it, and automatically post it, and also collect information about leads who are clicking on your ads. So these AI agents, they are like powerful powerful AI programs which can totally automate this flow for you from end to end. And there are so many platforms like agents.ai, Relevance, and then MindPal where you can create these agents within minutes. You don't have to know any technology. It is just like Gmail. You log in, you go in, and then you create an agent. And then what this agent has to do, you will describe in your plain English text, and you're done. Seriously, people don't connect with polished brands, they connect with honest ones. You can create a honest brand for yourself just by using these tools. Okay, so now I'm coming to the reality. So far, I have been advocating and talking a lot about free tools. Free tools are amazing. Let's get real until they are not. So you can't reach the end of startup life with just free tools. At some point you will hit a wall. Maybe you outgrow the limits, or maybe you need more automation. But the key is knowing when to upgrade and when to hold off. So here is a simple decision tree that I personally use. This is the decision tree I use for myself when I have to upgrade, when I have to just continue on the free plan. Ask yourself, are you making money? If the answer is no, then just stick with the free tools. Focus on validation and not upgrades. None at all. If yes, if you're already making a lot of money, then is the free limit holding you back from growing? Then don't even think about it. Like, for example, you have maxed out of your MailChimp contacts, or your database is too slow. You realize that the point has come where you have to upgrade, you have to spend money, just go for it. If it is not blocking growth, then still stay free. Don't pay just for convenience. Do not be in a rush to upgrade. If it is blocking your growth, ask, will upgrading help you two times your results or revenue? If yes, then upgrade strategically, not emotionally. You don't upgrade and then you won't be going and investing a certain amount of your profit directly into upgrade. You have to strategically and tactically think and come up with an incremental upgrade so that you don't over invest there. And if no to upgrade, then look for better or open source alternatives. You either stay in the free tier or you just look for better solutions in the free tier itself. The end rule is that focus on revenue first and then the tool second. Don't upgrade just because it feels good. Upgrade only when it's costing you more, not to upgrade. What I have seen is that this kind of mindset is actually highly suitable for startups, and this mindset alone will save you thousands, and it will help you build a lean and scalable startup. The rookie mistakes that you need to avoid. We'll talk about some of the classic mistakes that we make, the things I have seen, the things I have done myself more times than I would like to admit. I mean, these are common mistakes that every startup founder is bound to make. These are the things that waste your time, your energy, and essentially the startup momentum. In a startup, creating a momentum is the most important and the most critical thing. Once you lose the momentum, it is very difficult to rebuild that momentum. So you have to make sure that you don't make any of these classic mistakes just to make sure you stay in business. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the mistakes that I have noticed most commonly in the startup founders that I'm mentoring. The first mistake is that tool collecting instead of building. So what happens is that whenever a startup wants to invest in tools, they will form a group of people who will go on researching tools in the market. And there are so many. Every day in AI segment, we are seeing so many tools coming up. You don't fall into the trap of signing up to 20 tools, setting them all up, and then evaluating, finding the suitability of the tool to your product, and but you are still not shipping your product. So what happens is that you end up spending so much time in analysis that you lose the vision. So what I would suggest is pick a tool, use it, ship it. You can just write it somewhere, keep it somewhere visible, and then read it every day. This is like a mantra: pick a tool, use it, ship it. That's the idea. The second most common mistake that I have seen is choosing tools your team won't use. See, I have suggested that Notion can literally become your second brain. It is the best tool I have ever seen. But if your team loves Google Docs, then don't use Notion. Choose Google Docs itself. Remember that adoption is more important than aesthetics. So you need to choose what fits the team, what works with the team. Make the team happy, because they are the ones who are on the ground, who are going to build the product. So you choose tools that your team aligns with. That's mistake number two. And then the mistake three, this is the commonest of them all: ignoring the mobile first design. Assume you are going to meet an investor or you are going to meet a user, and then you are going to explain your product idea to them. So what they would immediately do, they would bring out their mobile, and then they will start checking your website on the mobile. Majority of the people, or 99% of the people, check websites on the mobile or your product platforms on the mobile. They won't go to laptop. They won't carry laptop with them, or they're not going to open your application on your laptop. At least not the product site. The product landing site, they won't open. They're going to open in mobile only. So make mobile your priority, not an afterthought. You have to make sure that all your landing sites are mobile responsive and they load properly in mobile. It's even better to make your design as mobile first. I would suggest mobile first design. And the next thing is also a very common one: no backup plan when free tier ends. So there are companies who work very well in the free tier. They choose a lot of right tools and they start building aggressively. But the thing is, they never have an exit strategy. Always have an exit strategy. Exit strategy for product development, exit strategy for product lifecycle, exit strategy for your startup. Always have an exit strategy. What if your free tier expires next week? What if your free tier is not scaling up? what if you need to export your data, what if you need to migrate. So always plan ahead and keep a backup plan ready when the free tier ends. Be prepared that free tier will not hold you till the end. Okay. And the mistake 5. Okay, this is also another thing I have seen. I've seen in a lot of founders, startup founders. They compare themselves to funded startups, and then they tend to create an infrastructure and the development environment that is very similar to the startups that already have a seed funding. You don't stress over what startups with $10 million seed round funding are. You are not in the race. No, you focus on the progress. You don't focus on the perfection. See, remember that ship first, optimize later. That is how a real momentum is built. Okay, this slide is like your gold card. If you're still a student or if you still have access to a student email, this slide is going to be your secret weapon. See, remember that there are so many schemes and so many plans that are available to the students. There are education discounts that you can grab right now, and there are university resources that are often overlooked, and there are so many cloud platforms that provide free credits to students. And then there are also so many Indian government schemes that prioritize student founders and women entrepreneurs. What I would say is the bottom line is that if you are a student, use it. Explore all the schemes that are available to students. If you are a student and a women entrepreneur, this is even better because the Indian government is having a lot of schemes for women entrepreneurs. I think there is never going to be a better time to access this much value in a $0 budget. Specifically, the points that I want to pick on in GitHub, there is a student developer pack. And then in Figma Pro, it is free for students. You get unlimited collaborators, version history, and extra features, everything if you're a student. Likewise, you can explore Notion Pro as well. And then AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure, all of them provide student credits. If you can prove to them that you are a student and you are still running a startup, they are going to give you a lot of credit points for free. And there are so many startup incubators and then pitch tech competitions, startup idea fest. Many colleges have startup programs, so they will give you grants, mentorship, and visibility. And there are also universities that provide you legal and mentorship support, and they also have entrepreneurship cells that offer real help. I think I think you need to explore all of this and then find out how you can utilize this for your startup. Okay, the reality check. This slide is all about being honest. This slide might sound a little bit heavy, but it's one of the most important things I will say today. The truth is, your first startup will probably fail. Yeah, honestly, your second startup one too. I have floated two startups so far. My first one was a failure. It's okay, it's normal, and that's how it works. Every founder you admire, whether it is a CEO of a unicorn or your favorite one you follow in LinkedIn, they have all failed at something before they figure it out. So, what matters is not whether you fail, what matters is that what you learn from those failures and how you are going to apply these lessons in your next startup and how you are going to monetize or how fast you get back up from that failure. Because here is the thing, every failed project is going to teach you a precious and important lesson, and you need to make sure that you learn from that lesson. Every small win will build confidence and momentum to you. So you don't chase perfection, you chase progress. So that's the real startup mindset. So once you fail, you need to think about what I have learned and how I get back up. What do I do next? That's the kind of mindset that I want you to grow. I have seen a lot of very expensive, very powerful tools in the market, but I have also found that in the free stack tools list, there are some tools which can equally compete with these tools. For example, I have already told you, instead of Slack, you can try Discord. Instead of Airtable, you can give a try on Notion database. And the Notion also has something called as a Notion form. It is somewhat very similar to Google Form, but it is very, very powerful. You can use Notion forms to collect feedback, incident responses. You can use it for a lot of things actually. Adobe Creative Suite, you can go with Canva plus GIMP. It is actually this combination is works like a magic without the Adobe Bill. Adobe Bill is very heavy. The people who have used Adobe will know. And then instead of Zoom Pro, you can go with Google Meet. Google Meet is personally my favorite. It works in the browser, and there are no installs, and there is no 40 minutes limit. What I would tell you at this point is when you select tools, you make sure those tools are cloud driven so that you can use your browser to use those applications. You don't use to use those tools. You don't have to install something in your desktop. There is no setup involved in it. So I always prefer cloud driven tools for my company. Instead of Calendly, you can try Calendly. Instead of Intercom, you can try Crisp Chat. See, all these free alternatives, they provide more or less the same features as the paid tools, but they come up with a solid free plan. So you can explore all of these and then find out which one works for you. But remember that you are not compromising by using these free tools. You are actually being smart. And I have found that a lot of early stage teams run entire businesses with these free tools, and they are actually quite smart. I have learned from so many of them, and they are very young ones. So this slide is for all the tech founders. This one's for you. Let's say you are ready to build, you got your idea, and you also maybe got a few markups, and now you want to ship it. So here is your entire backend plus frontend stack completely free. This is for the techies out there, so I'm going to go into full tech stack. Bear with me. When it comes to hosting and deployment, I would suggest Netlify, Vercel, and Railway. I have already explained what all of these is. Database and backend, Superbase, PlanetScale, and Firebase. Firebase, oh my god, this is a very good one. Google's BAS. It is great for authentication, Firestore database, and push notification, all free to start. Suppose you are building a dual application, which has a mobile application as well as a web application, I would suggest you go with Firebase. It is kind of very cool in synchronizing between these multiple channels. For omni-channel development, Firebase is a very good choice. When it comes to version control and coding, GitHub is my most favorite, and they also have something called as GitHub Code Spaces and then Replete. In when it comes to GitHub, I want you to explore Copilot and assistance, code assistance. I'm going to actually explain about AI tools in my next slide. But the point here is this is the same kind of stack I have used to build full platforms, fast, reliable, and production ready. So, so the point is how much you can build, how much you can do with the free tools in the market. You don't need expensive tools at all to create production ready applications nowadays. That's the trend now. That's the reality. Okay, so this is the last slide. So how can I conclude this session without explaining what AI can do for you? Um, AI can not only generate content for you, AI can not only talk to you, they can actually write code for you. You can use AI like one of your teammates. You're not building alone anymore, you've got AI teammates now. So you need to explore things called vibe coding and then AI robots doing the programming thing. So this is exactly where the things get really exciting. Seriously, with the right tools, the AI can help you write code, and they can also debug code, and they can generate entire UI component for you. Suppose you do a UX design, and then you take a screenshot of the UI design, and then you upload it to ChatGPT, or you upload it to Claude or Grok, and then you ask it to generate a React component for you. They will generate the entire React component for you, which you can just copy paste into your application, and boom, your UI is ready. They can write documents which you already know, and they can even build full applications. There are some platforms and some tools which can take 2 or 3 line description, and they can generate the entire application. A React front end and a back end written in Fast API and Python, and they are synchronized together, already pre-integrated. I mean, you can just deploy the application and start using it. All of this is for free or close to it. So I'm going to break it down. When it comes to coding assistants, which ones are my favorite? I prefer to use ChatGPT or Clad as my coding assistant, and I also personally like a GitHub Copilot. It is like autocomplete for code, and it is free for students. So it helps with boilerplate functions and logic. And then the cool thing about GitHub Copilot is that it will learn your style. Every programmer has his own style. So the co-pilot understands and adapts to your style, and then it starts suggesting things in your own style. So you will feel like you are actually working with a colleague, a developer who just listens to you and then starts programming for you. I mean, I love this way of coding, where using an AI assistant to code along with me. Codium is actually a great AI pair programmer. I think in agile practice, there was a concept called pair programming, which became very popular in the last era. So now what you can do is, using this tool, you can use AI as your pair programmer. It supports more than 70 plus languages and it is completely free. Explore Tab9 as well, because it provides all kinds of lightweight AI suggestions while you code. Suppose you are a person who would prefer to manually write code instead of generated code, then Tab9 is your go-to tool. Apart from this, you can also get help from LLMs when you're writing code. Suppose say I want to, how can I do architecture for a feature? Like for example, the users come into my product, they upload some files and I want to convert this file, the content from this file into a vector embedding, and then I want to convert this into a knowledge base for my AI agent. This is kind of a very complex use case. So I go and say this to ChatGPT. The ChatGPT tells me exactly what needs to be done, and then it comes up with 3 or 4 approaches. See, you can do this one, approach two, approach three, or approach four. And then if you say I like approach one and I want to make some changes in this, and then it will give you a change, and then it will ask, do you want me to generate this code for you? And then if you say yes, it is going to generate the complete project scaffold along with the coded files, the configurations, everything as a zip file. You can just download the zip files and then start running immediately, right away. There will be some issues, so you need to go back and forth. But I think this one works really, really, really well. I mean, when you build a product, you can't generate code for everything, but it is actually a very good starting point. I would like you to explore these options. In this space, my personal favorite is Claude. Claude is extremely good in debugging code and also giving detailed logic help. Um, I would suggest that you purchase a subscription for any of these tools, because they are really useful and helpful for you to finish your code very fast. And there are specialized AI builders like V0.dev. V0.dev is my favorite, and Gamma is my favorite. So V0.dev, they actually, like I explained, they generate React components from text. You describe the UI. No, you don't even need to do a UX design. You just describe the UI, and then they will generate the JSX code for you. How cool is that? And then there is bold.new. It is actually a full stack builder. So like I explained, you type what you want, what your application to do. For example, let's say I want to build an e-commerce application, and then the e-commerce application should have catalog, browse, checkout, order, etc. And then it will create the entire application structure for you. um, when it comes to editors, Visual Source Safe is still my most favorite editor, but Cursor is also equally favorite. It's actually AI first code editor. Means once you cannot skip AI as an option here. It will totally take over your coding. Sometimes I like that, and sometimes I don't. So the trend has changed like this. You don't write code, you just describe what you want to code in plain English, and then these tools will write the code for you. I'm not saying that this is going to replace developers, but it is going to help you. It is going to supercharge your speed, especially for solo founders or small teams. So this is how you build smarter and not harder. And also, the time it takes to build a product and bring it to market reduces at least 70%, 60 to 70% when you use these tools in a very smart way for free. So that's that. We have come to the end of the slide. We have covered a lot today. From free tools to build and grow your startup to AI teammates that help you code, to the mindset that lets you do more with less. But there is one thing I want you to take away, it's this. You don't need a big budget to build big things. You just need courage, curiosity, and consistency. Thanks so much for being here today. I hope this session gave you some clarity, confidence, and a whole lot of shortcuts. Feel free to connect with me in LinkedIn, or you can just drop me an email at priyapackrisamy@gmail.com if you want to continue the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Priya, for such a practical and insightful session. Your expertise made it clear how critical the right tools are in shaping our startup success, from aligning with team needs to supporting long term growth. Your expertise in AI, tech leadership, and startup strategy added immense value. On behalf of GeneCube and everyone here, thank you for sharing your knowledge and inspiring us to make smarter and more strategic tech choices. We look forward to more such engaging session with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Yes, Shruti, thank you. See you.